A very good morning to all the students. I hope every one of you is fine and in your best health. We were doing chapter number 4, that is carbon and its compounds, and we have completed almost half of the chapter. And today, moving ahead with the topic, we will be doing cyclic hydrocarbons. As we have all studied that hydrocarbons are arranged in a straight chain, they can also be arranged in branched chain manner, and some of the hydrocarbons are arranged in a ring-like structure are called as cyclic hydrocarbons. Now, likewise with the chain and branched hydrocarbons, they are also in two types, that is saturated and unsaturated. So firstly, we'll start with the saturated, the cyclic hydrocarbon. So first, saturated cyclic hydrocarbon. Alright, so in this, now the most important hydrocarbon which is given in your book is about cyclohexane. So we only have two types of cyclic hydrocarbons in your syllabus, so it would be better for you to only learn these two, because in the CBSE board generally things comes from the NCERT book only. So whatever is given in your NCERT book, you just have to read this. Nothing comes from the outside. But also, if you want to have little knowledge, or sometime it happens that a question may be asked which is not in the book, so in that case we'll be discussing you. So what can be the other cyclic hydrocarbons except this cyclohexane? So this cyclohexane is given in the book also. This is the main hydrocarbon which is unsaturated. That means it do not have any double bond. It only has a single bond, and it will be in a ring like structure. So cyclohexane has the formula of C6H12. That means it's cyclo and hexane. So hex means number of carbon is 6. Okay, so it is arranged in a hexagonal ring which is somewhat like this. So it will form a hexagon. So we have 6 carbon, and they will be arranged in a ring like structure, basically a hexagon like this. So since here each carbon is the two electrons, or the two bonds, it is sharing two, one from here and one from here. So 2 electrons are shared, so 2 are left, so the other 2 will be shared with the hydrogen. Okay, so that is why it's 12 hydrogen. So each carbon will have 2 hydrogen sharing, and here also. So since it has 6 carbons, so we will name it hexane, and ane because it's H, ane because it's a single bond, it's alkane. So alkane has a name ane. So this is how it looks like. So this is C6H12, which is cyclohexane. Okay, if I'll explain you in the other manner, would be like this, that this C will be sharing 2 electrons with the hydrogen. That means one of this and one of this, and then again hydrogen here, and then again hydrogen here. Okay, so that means it is having all 8 electrons. So the other C is here. Okay, because each carbon has 4 electrons, so 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, so it is having 8 electrons. So this again will be having 8 electrons, so either hydrogen and hydrogen. So likewise here also, and here also. See again here, and it will be also sharing electrons, and then 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 here. Okay, so like this. So this space, if we'll count, each C is having 8 electrons, all 8 electrons. Okay, so this also having 8 electrons because it needs 8 electrons. So this is also having 8 electrons. This, all right, and this is also having 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the structure of cyclohexane. So you can either draw this or this, it will be better for you. This is just to understand. So each carbon is having 8 electron now. So this is a ring like structure which is called a cyclohexane. Now why we only study cyclohexane, many students would be having this question in their mind, that can't we have a cyclopropane or cyclobutane or even a cyclopentane. Now cyclopropane can also it also can exist, cyclobutane also exists, and cyclopropane also exists, but this is a proper cyclic structure where we see a ring, and this is the most stable one, so we read this. But we also can have, but if a question comes in your exams, you'd better go for cyclohexane because it's given in your book. But yes, cyclopropane can also happen, but it's not in your book, so better not write these examples when propane. So because this cyclohexane is very stable, but cyclopropane can also exist like this. So 3 carbon, and again it will be having hydrogen, and hydrogen. So yes, cyclopropane can also occur. Cyclobutane can also occur. Cyclobutane will be having a quadrilateral like structure. So these, if you see, do not make a proper ring. Okay, so they are making different structure like triangle, squares, so it's better. And cyclopentane also is there. So it happens like this. 5C. So hydrogen here and here. Okay, so cyclobutane and cyclopentane. So these occur in nature, cyclopropane, but we do not take example of these when we study. Whenever a question comes, write an example of cyclic hydrocarbon. So better go for cyclohexane because cyclohexane is a proper ring-like structure. They are making a proper angle. But if a question comes that what is the smallest cyclic hydrocarbon, then the answer would be cyclopropane, not cyclohexane. So they can be a cyclic hydrocarbon having only 3 carbon atoms, but it cannot happen, it cannot take place only with 2 carbon atoms. So you can have more than the number if exists, the number of carbon atoms exceed, so you can make a bigger ring. But cyclohexane is a best example of a cyclic hydrocarbon. Okay, so because it's given in your syllabus, so it's in your course. We also have this in your NCERT book, example of this. So this is cyclohexane, where 6C are there, 6 atoms of carbon. Okay, so next is the unsaturated cyclic hydrocarbon. So for this unsaturated cyclic hydrocarbon, unsaturated because it's unsaturated, that means it will be having the ring. So the example is we call it benzene. So benzene is again with 6 carbon atoms. So in the case of single bond, we were calling it a cyclohexane. So where the carbon number was 6 and hydrogen were 12 because it was an alkane, so it was named as hexane, but because here we are having a double bond, so we will call it ene. Okay, that's why we call it benzene. So basically it would be cyclohexene, so we call cyclohexene as benzene. So again we will having 6 carbon atoms. Okay, so this is a ring like structure, but here we are having some double bonds, so we will be having double bonds in the alternate manner, like one will be here and other will be here, and the third ring double bond will be here. Okay, so these 3 double bonds are here. So because this carbon is already sharing 3 electrons, so here will be only 1 hydrogen, and this carbon is also sharing 3 electrons, so it only have 1 extra electron, so it will only share with 1 hydrogen. And same with here, and same with all the carbon atoms, because they are already having 3 electrons which are sharing. So this is the structure of benzene. Benzene, because it's ene, it's a double bond. So whenever in any hydrocarbon it's double bond, it is called as ene. Okay, alkene. So this is the example of benzene. Again I will show you how to write in the electron dot structure. So like C here, so 1C here, 1C here, so 6C in all total. So in this one carbon atom and the other carbon atom, so 2 are shared. Okay, so 2 carbon atoms are shared, 2 electrons are shared, so here are 2 and only 1 is there. Okay, so 1 is left, so 1 with this, and again 2 here and 2 here, and then here only 1 will be left and 1 will be left here. So again either 2 here and okay, so this is how it will form. So since hydrogen will also be having 1 electron, so 1 electron here, so this hydrogen will be having 1 electron, so here and 1 here, 1 here, and I'll tell you how. Okay, so if you'll see here, so 1 electron is of hydrogen and 1 is of carbon. Okay, so 1 of hydrogen, 1 of carbon, 1 of hydrogen, 1 of carbon, 1 of hydrogen, 1 of carbon. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3 of this carbon and 1 is of this carbon. If you'll calculate, you will be having equal number of these carbon atoms, the equal number of electrons. So this is having 8 electrons. Okay, and this C is also having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 electrons here. Now this C is also having 8 electrons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 electrons here. This C again having 8 electrons, and this is also having 8 electrons, like this C is having 8 electrons, and this is also having 8 electrons. Okay, so each C is having 8 electrons, so this is a cyclic unsaturated hydrocarbon which is called as benzene. So its formula is C6H6 benzene. So only these 2 examples are there in your NCERT book, cyclohexane and cyclohexene, or called as benzene. So only 2 examples, that is it. So there could be questions which where they will be asking you, so write the formula of cyclopentane or cyclobutane. So I've already told you here, because it's not like that, it's not given in your book, so they can't come, but you have to know that cyclopropane can also occur, butane can also occur, pentane can also occur, even more than that can also occur, but as I've told you in your book, this only mentioned these 2, so I've taught you this. So now next, after this, we're gonna move to next, like how to name these hydrocarbons. So because it's given in your book here already, so we will take the reference of the book. Okay, so as you can see here, it's methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, hexane. So now naming is not in your syllabus for this year, nomenclature is not for this year, but still we have to go through this, how to name the hydrocarbons. So whenever there is, so I will start with the naming of hydrocarbons. Naming of hydrocarbons. So according to this IUPAC is what, let us do this. You have been studied this IUPAC. IUPAC is the applied, sorry, it is the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So it's a branch which was formed in some 1958. Okay, so they had a nomenclature technique which is somewhat like this. Now, what they say, that number of carbon atom in any hydrocarbon will be indicated by using the following. They are having an order. So if there is only one carbon atom, okay, so we will indicate it by writing meth for one. If there is two carbon atoms, so it will be called as eth. Okay, and if there are three, then it will be prop. Okay, for I'm not writing 4 carbon atoms, so it will be but. It will be but and it will be read as but. Okay, it's 5 carbon atom, it will be pent. 6 carbon atom will be hex. 7 will be hept. HEPT, hept. For 8 it will be oct. So you don't have to name all these oct and all, but I'm just telling you. And it will be for 9 it will non, and for 10 it will be dec. Okay, so don't say des, it's dec. Okay, so this is the normal naming system. So in any saturated hydrocarbon which contain a single bond, okay, so this is this. Now these are the first letter suffix, first letter. So in this, the first word will be meth. Okay, so these word will be put as a prefix. Like if a saturated hydrocarbon is having a single bond, so we will be using meth first, and then single bond has a name called ane, so it will be methane. Okay, so the first rule is that the starting of the prefix will be all these. If they are having how many carbon atoms, so we will be naming it this ways. And then if it is having, so second is single bond. For single bond, okay, so single bond, the name will be ane. So this ane will come after these carbon atoms like meth, so it will methane, eth, ethane, propane, but, and so on. But if it is unsaturated hydrocarbon, for unsaturated, so now if it having a double bond, okay, so it will be ene. So for double bond it will be ene, like it will be methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, hexane, and so on. And if it will be having unsaturated hydrocarbon with a triple bond, so it will be yne, YNE. So it will be called as methane, ethane, propane. Okay, so that is how we name these hydrocarbons. Now I have told you about the chained hydrocarbon. So again, like we have done chain hydrocarbon is just a simple line like we call ethane, methane. So they are the chain hydrocarbon like this. It is CH3, CH2 and CH3. So this is C carbon, and this is hydrogen. Yeah. So this is having 1, 2, 3 carbon atoms, and how many hydrogens are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 hydrogen here. So this is called as ethane because there is no double bond. So it is ethane. So this is a chain hydrocarbon. So these are all in a chain. Okay. So this is an example of a chain hydrocarbon. But if we call a branched hydrocarbon, so example of branched hydrocarbon would be any alkyl group attaches. So what is an alkyl group? I will tell you after this. So like it's a simple branched structure, CH3, CH, CH3. So example, another carbon atom attaches here. So now it is CH3. So this group, functional group, has attached to this chain. So this is now a branched hydrocarbon. Okay, so why it's only H here? Because if I'll split this, so it's like C, and C, and it's already H here. Okay, this is the same thing, and here C also has this. So 1 H here, 1 H here, hydrogen, 3 hydrogen here, and 3 hydrogen here. Okay. So now we can see that every carbon is having all 4 electrons. Every carbon is having 4 electron sharing, and they are also having 4 next electrons. So every carbon is having 8 electrons. So this is how a branched structure looks like, and it is an example of it will be you don't have to learn naming, but I would like to name here 1, 2 and 3. So it's 2 here. It is 2 methyl propane because it's 3 carbon, so prop, and it's only a single bond, so it's ane. So propane. Why 2 here? Because to this second number of carbon, it's a functional group attached here, which is called alkyl group. Okay, so this is an example of branched hydrocarbon. So one more example of branched hydrocarbon will be simple C carbon and okay, C and C. So it's branch, it's not a chain, it's not a ring, it's a branch. So here it will be CH3, CH3, CH3 and CH3. So this C does not have anything because every electron is shared. So it's like 2 dimethyl propane. So di and methyl means it's 1, 2 and 3. This is a naming according to IUPAC. So we have to make the number from the longest chain. So because in here there are 2 alkyl group, methyl group here, so we will call it 2,2-dimethyl. So we don't have to study naming, but still I'm teaching you because this is an example of a branched hydrocarbon. Okay, so I should tell you about alkyl group. Alkyl group is a functional group. So in our syllabus we don't have to study any other alkyl group which students were studying since years. So you can read, it's in there in your book, and if you want I can teach you also, but in your board exams those questions will not be the part of your syllabus for this year, but it's in your book, so you should study. What I think is that you should learn that because that is really very important. So alkyl group is just a simple which is formed by the removal of one hydrogen atom from any alkane molecule. That means the group is formed by the removal of one hydrogen atom from an alkane molecule. Okay, so that is called alkyl group. Okay, so example, here it's a molecule of methane, Ch-4, and here is an example of C6H6. It's methane and it's ethane. So as per the definition, the group is formed by the removal of one hydrogen atom from an alkyl group, so alkane group. So basically we just have maximum times we have this methyl alkyl group, and sometimes we have ethyl also. So if we'll remove one hydrogen, so it will become CH3 and it will become C2H5. So this is an alkyl group. It's called a methyl group and ethyl group. So these are alkyl, methyl and ethyl. So what happens is this CH3 will be having hydrogen here, and hydrogen here. So this is having one spare electron. So it is having, carbon is having 7 electrons because of sharing. So one is not shared with hydrogen, so it is vacant. So this methyl group attaches to any other hydrocarbon, such as this has been attached here, so forming a branch structure which forms a new hydrocarbon. So this, and in the case of ethyl, it will be like this, double C hydrogen. So every carbon will be having hydrogen except one. So this is empty, so it is not sharing with anyone. So this will attach to either to this. So this is an alkyl group, which is a functional group which adds to a chain structure or any branched hydrocarbon and forms a new compound. Okay, so this is basically represented by R. It is denoted by R. So whenever it's R there in any in this hydrocarbon chain, so you have to make sure that it's a hydrocarbon alkyl group here. Okay, so after all this you should study more, but since it's not in your syllabus, so we just have to now study the homologous series, which is very easy. So we'll be doing it in our next lecture. So till now, whatever has been taught to you, please go through all that things, and it's very easy. If you'll just read your book, it will be clear to you, because here it's also given like how do you write hexane. So these are in the all the hydrocarbons of in your book are in a chain structure. So basically you don't have to study more about branch structure, because it's no naming in your syllabus for this year. So please go through all the things which have been covered in the lecture today, and try to solve all the questions which will be giving you as in homework. And if you have any problem what has been taught to you, you can ask me so that I can help you. So you just have to study the cyclohexane and benzene. Okay, so this is two important things for this chapter. Okay, so till then, study hard and do your work. Take care. Thank you.